Vulpix, Ninetales, Naruto, Meryl Fox, Ari, Nick Wilde. Let's talk about Kitsune. I feel like we've been doing a lot of were creatures lately. Then again, technically, while they are shape changers, they aren't were creatures. So I think we're going to let that one slide. Because if they were, they would be foxes that turn into humans. You know what? That's just the wrong way to look at it anyways. Kitsune are more akin to spirits and fae than actual people. So let's start there. Wait, what the hell is this? What do you mean it's in my contract? Kitsune in fantasy and pop culture spawned from Japanese mythology and yokai folklore. Why is his neck so long? I think this is my new favorite piece of art. Nice. Kitsune are spirits that have gained enough power and age and wisdom to possess others and have strange shape-changing abilities. While other stories do say that all foxes have some sort of shape-changing abilities. A lot to work with here, so if you have a particular flavor you're looking for, it's a really old legend and you wouldn't be the first person to embellish a little bit. I'm looking at you, Love, Death, and Robots. Kitsune are of two forms. They're human guys and their true form, that is, in my mind, a fox spirit or a yokai or just some form of fox. In Pathfinder 1st Edition, their true form is more of a half-human weird were thing. But no, like, throw that out. If you're going to play Kitsune, go all the way. The humanoid form is fine. And honestly, I don't care if you want to be a full-blown fox boy or some anime girl with wolf ears. But what makes them different from like a catfolk or a shuni is the fox form. Mind you, you could be as mythical or ghostly or horrific as you want. And we can get into that more with the tail things. But that's really what you should be focusing on.
But Rook, I want to play as the sexy fox boy thirst trap.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'd allow it at my table, but really the better way to think about it is that that is your disguise. You can be as thirsty as you want. That's not up to me. But when it comes to the fox form or the humanoid or the human form, you really should be looking at the fox being your true self and then the guise being something different. That's kind of how disguises work. All right, moving on. I think it really is the crux of how you make the Kitsune. Your true form should default to be the fox aspect of yourself. But as your action, you can shift between these two forms freely, and I argue that's because they're not really shape-changing or polymorphing. You just are both of those things. A better way to look at it might be that you are a fox spirit. So all of your stats and abilities are based around that. And if anything, they should have bonuses not just for persuasion, but also for the school of illusory magic. And they're using their charisma to convince everyone around them that they're not just a fox walking around in a giant pair of boots. The way I've always played it, if someone with blind sense or true sight looks at a Kitsune, regardless of which form you're in at the time, they're basically just going to see a derpy fox wearing a giant hat. Yeah, let that one sink in for a little bit. Unless you're not wearing a hat, just whatever. Let's talk about stats. You could, if you were feeling adventurous, start with the base stats of a fox, but there are a lot of weird complications to that. Check out the bear video if that's what you're interested in. I would generally just roll your stats with the idea that you are a small, medium-sized fox that can transform into a little dexterous humanoid form. You do get bonuses to dexterity and charisma, and I would say you could do this as a +4, +2, but maybe take some negatives to strength. You could always go do the +2 to one, +2 to another, because D&D 5e is great like that. Why make it more complicated? And fun. That's the boring way, but it's fine. It works. You gain a bonus bite attack as long as you're in your fox form, and I'd argue that within reason, you'd be able to either bite or claw attack in your humanoid form, depending on what you want to look like. It should be noted that there's usually only one form that this form would take. Otherwise, you have to use a spell like Disguise Self or something to make yourself look like a different human. Your fox form and your humanoid form should be static forms. But with that, your stats don't change when you transform. So whether you're a fox lifting weights or a tall human rummaging through the trash, since you are a spirit and or a fox, depending on how you want to look at it, it doesn't matter what you look like. Your stats are your stats. So that's just one of the unique things that Kitsune have going for them. Now, beyond that, there are really two schools of thought that can continue this build, and they're both around adding tails to your character. One is the spirit, and the other is the fox. Let me explain. If your whole goal with this character is to explore the magical, spiritual, fae-inspired possession side, I would argue what you're doing is really making your spirit side more powerful. And that should give you a hell of a lot of bonuses to things like Disguise Self, enchantment spells, illusory spell, mind-altering effects, just skullduggery in general. And this could be as simple as advantage rolls on illusion spells. In Pathfinder 1st Edition, that you do get a +10 to deception so long as they are attempting to look human. And to me, that feels like the bare minimum for having a humanoid form. Normally in 1st Edition, you'd only get dancing lights, which is like 3 times per day, and that makes kind of sense if you're some kind of fey creature. Seems weak. It's a little weak sauce. A little bit. So if that's the kind of play style you want to go with, I'd say lean really hard into being a weird spirit fox and lean into your magic. Through level gating, or your DM might give you story-based progression, you gain magic by gaining more tails. Wait, what? Yeah, that's how kitsunes work. The older they get, they grow more tails, denoting their power. Don't look at me, go look at the book. I think this is a really fun side mechanic to build for any character, whether it's amping up additional spells like gaining Charm Person or Disguise Self as a spell-like ability that you can use maybe twice a day or 3 times a day. Another option would be to increase the DC of any of your illusory magic spells, and that's great for any sorcerer or bard that you might be playing as a kitsune. And really, that could work out for anybody as long as these spells are focused around illusion or persuasion. You know, the pseudo-evil stuff that people are okay with, like lying or copyright infringement. Yahoo! And then there's the fox build, which is less magically inclined in some ways, but focuses more on your shifting and just general foxitude. I'm not sure that's a word. Essentially, you're gaining a lot of combat potential and mobility by upgrading your changed shape. And this could be from upgrading it into a move action or a free action. In Pathfinder 2nd edition with the 3 action system, this doesn't really matter, so who cares? But you can still benefit from gaining extra tail. You just have to tailor it to your class. Rogues might be able to hide whenever they shift into fox form. Each tail could offer you a bonus damage or bonus damage type to your attack. Druids may gain the benefit of free shifting as long as they shift into a fox or fox-like shape. I would definitely allow a combination of wild shape and fox form. Regardless of which way you go, per the lore, you can get up to 8 tails, feats or features, or however you want to look at them, but that's really up to your DM and how you want to pace those out. I think leaving the spell slots or uses per day for these abilities should be kept pretty low to keep things balanced, but feel free to expand them and play with different numbers. Maybe the tails give you more access to these abilities that you gain pretty early on. Maybe it's 1 plus their charisma modifier, or you could just base them around the proficiency and level them up as they grow. Kitsune are a wild race. If you're really struggling to find a way to fit them into your game or for your players, you could always start with a tabaxi and give them a free shape change. But I really do think the best way is to give someone playing a kitsune is to start them as a fox spirit and see where that takes them. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really like the idea of a kitsune monk bounding at someone in fox form, just max speed, and then at the last moment shifting and flying dragon kicking them right in the face. You could call it something like the Red Rocket. Wait, that might be something different. Remember to keep your dice on the table, everybody. Thank you again to all the Patreon members who help support this channel and help make these videos possible. As well, thank you everyone who participates in the weekly draw stream. If you have a character you'd like to see drawn, put it in the comments below or put it on the YouTube community post that we post every Monday. And we draw those on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll see you there.